So we just woke up to somebody boarding our boat. It's 3:30 in the morning and we're in Sorong. I just woke up to a couple of kind of loud bangs, and then I waited for a second and heard footsteps outside, which is what you don't want to hear, obviously, at night while you're asleep. So I woke Bowen up really quickly, and he went outside, unlocked all the doors and went outside, and there was an Indonesia guy. He had one of the hatches open. Luckily it wasn't one of the hatches for the kids' rooms, it was the hatch to the pantry, but still, it was the front cabin. And so obviously we caught him just in time. Don't know what his intentions were. He claimed he wanted a lighter, but don't really know. That doesn't really seem right. So Bowen was just very direct with him. Told him to get off the boat. We don't have a lighter, go away. And he did. So luckily there wasn't any other confrontation that happened after that, but still it's pretty scary. And there were 2 other guys on the boat, which usually there's sort of maybe 2 fishermen on the boats that we've sort of seen around, so scary. They definitely outnumbered us in terms of adults on board, so not something that you want to happen at 3:30 in the morning. So suffice to say, I cannot sleep. Hopefully we will be able to get out of here tomorrow. We're going to stay for a few days, but now we kind of just want to leave. So we might head over to Tampa Garam again, which we've stayed in before, and it's pretty safe and secure there around the corner. So we might head there again tomorrow, finish off the few things that we have to do here.
We're moored at Sorong at Tampa Garam. It's a med style mooring and we have to pull ourselves over, but Wick, the owner, has been super helpful.
We can totally imagine Tampa Garam being a hotspot back in its day, with remnants of old playgrounds, pools and activities around the grounds. Now, however, it primarily just offers a safe harbour for cruising yachts, a few cabins, a small cafe and a huge pool that we made use of almost daily.
1, 2, 3. Just let go, mate. Because once you do it once, you'll just keep going. Go. Go down and push him, Harlow. Lagi. Again. 1, 2, 3.
After a much needed cool down, it was a perfect time to sit down and reflect on the issues we had the night before.
So, good news, we made it to Tampa Garam.
Yep, Wick was able to get us in,
yes,
which is a good friend to have when you're in Sorong.
Yeah, he managed to move some boats around once we told him about what had happened in the harbour at the front. He moved some boats around and was able to get us in for a few nights, which is really great. So then we'll be able to take care of the last little things we have to do, and hopefully we won't have any more dramas.
It did put a bit of a dampener on our feeling about but I think you shouldn't let one experience soil
tarnish
the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because
most of the people that we have met here have just been so amazing, and they've been so friendly and kind. So we can't really just say that we're never coming back to Sorong just because of that, but we do definitely need to be more careful in future. We got a little complacent, I think, with we kind of just got a bit relaxed with our locking of things and whatnot because we hadn't had any issues. So
and usually there is movement of a night time. It's usually fishermen and they never bother you. They're always out there and that's just their life. but after arriving and the message I sent to Wick, and Wick mentioning a few things, he's like, oh yeah, that's not the spot to be. And out the front of where we're even the marina, he's like, wouldn't anchor out there. So it's sounding like there's not very many good places to anchor here, but don't let it tarnish your idea.
We're just going to be a lot more careful, so even if we do have to be out there again, that's fine. We'll just make sure that there's always someone on the boat. We won't be leaving it during the day to do things really anymore, which we were doing before. We can just make sure there's someone always on the boat, and at night we just make sure that we're completely locked up.
Yeah.
We've obviously left nothing out that is not that important to us.
That was definitely a win for us, because people have said that they've had things stolen, but I think the fact that we've always been
careful to bring all of the expensive stuff anyway.
Yeah, like and not
inside.
even super expensive, but they just after goggles and things like that. Like like things they just can't
beer.
get their hands on easily. So they just want that. So if you leave that out on the deck or in your saloon, then that's all they want.
It's easy to grab.
To be perfectly honest, when I got out there, we don't know what what their intentions were. They said all they wanted was a lighter, which is not true. But I mean, out of all the things they were searching our bin. So, really they were just opportunists that wanted something or anything. You don't know. So don't leave anything out.
Yeah, and just lock up all the time.
Yeah.
We have, lots of security measures. We put them in place before we came to Indonesia, and none of those deterrents worked. We've got video camera and everything, and didn't care.
They parked their boat at the back of the transom, and we have 2 spotlights that automatically sensor on when they come. And we've heard that spotties and things like that are some of the best deterrent, because most people don't want to be seen when they're doing something like robbing you or whatever. And yeah, they didn't care. When I came out there, the lights were on. I shined the lights in their face. They were more scared at the fact that I came out and got up in their face. There was no argument. There was no fight. It was just get off my boat. And they did that. I'm sure it could have
quite
been
intimidating when he can stand all nice and tall and
yeah. When you're 6'4" and you're next to a little Indonesian man who was probably only 5'4", and you're already angry and they're in your home, you wouldn't feel comfortable. But you never know what that situation could have turned into. You don't know what they had in their pocket or anything. But you got to be careful. But I think you also just need to be like, this is my home. Get out. You're doing the wrong thing. And as I said to Shona, they asked for a cigarette lighter. And even if it was 3 a.m. in the morning, who's looking for a cigarette lighter at 3 a.m. in the morning? And if you want a cigarette lighter, you tap on the side of the boat and ask for a cigarette lighter. You don't come opening people's hatches and going in.
Yeah.
If he knocked on my door and tapped on the side of the boat at 3 a.m. in the morning, and I came down to him and he said, I need a cigarette lighter, I would have walked inside and got him a cigarette lighter at 3 a.m. But you're on my boat and opening hatches. You don't get anything. Get off.
Yeah.
And that's the way I think you need to approach these things.
So it's very scary. It shook us quite a bit. We're
Heaps.
definitely feeling better now that we're in Tampa Garam. But as I said, it's not going to deter us from coming back to Sorong. Sorong does have all of the best stuff in terms of most of the things that we need to provision, especially being celiac. It's really hard for me to find provisions, and Sorong does have a supermarket that does stock gluten-free food, which we haven't found anywhere else in Indonesia.
And a lot. We found more this time.
Yes.
We might talk about that shortly.
Yeah.
Because we found heaps of stuff.
Yes. It's definitely, we have to come back here, so we just have to chalk it up to experience and be more careful in future. It was on us. We didn't lock that hatch, and we should feel completely secure inside the boat knowing that everything is locked securely.
Yeah.
So really that's definitely a learning thing for us. We can't ever get complacent.
See, I think the other thing we've learnt now is we've got a place which is Tampa Garam and managed by Wick, who's an Australian. And I think that knowing that he's here and his ability to help us get petrol and provision and have drivers and all that availability, that it just makes sense to
Absolutely.
book yourself in. You know you're going to spend 1 or 2 days getting fuel, and having someone like him and his availabilities to get a truck and give you all the jerry so you don't have to go back and do 4 or 5 trips. You can just smash it out in one. Means you can come in, you can pay him his fee, and you can get everything done in a day if that's what you want. If you want to come in and just work your butt off, you can have it done in a day and be out if you're in Tampa Garam.
I feel as though we could make an entire video just on how amazing Wick is.
I think so too.
He's just a really fantastic contact to have, and everyone that we have spoken to, other cruisers and things, have all said most amazing things about him as well. He's just one of those genuine people who's just really happy to help out however he can, and that's fantastic. Since being in Indonesia, we haven't necessarily found that a lot of the time, so to have somebody like that is just, it's definitely a reassurance for us that you know, we can come here if we have issues with anything, and we can, if it's available in Indonesia, we'll be able to sort it out here.
Yeah, I think him being an ex-cruiser
Yes.
means that he's part of the community still, and he understands what each and every one of us cruisers go through, and he's willing to fix that
And to do
whatever needs to be done to help.
Yeah.
And it's a good business model to have, to just help people. You're going to come back and we're going to talk about it like we are right now.
Yeah.
And we can't stop talking about and praising him. Like, there's so much to say and so much he can do.
All right, so that's the wrap up on our Sorong saga.
Ooh, we should go
See
back
what I
to
did
Saga
there?
and get sour
Saga's
cream.
where I get the gluten-free food from.
Yeah, see? Good. If you can see my hand.
Is my face red?